Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CiL Prospect Series for the Lone Star 120. I'm Matthew Nordberg. Joining me in the booth tonight is Zachary Lindler, as well as our Season 5 CiL Prospect Series champ, Alex Hallinar. Zach, what are you looking forward to in tonight's race?
Yes, hello and good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Lone Star 120, our second Prospect Series of the race, our second Prospect Series race of the season here at Texas Motor Speedway. This is a very complex, a very characterful track here in Texas that we're going to have a lot of drivers struggling to figure it out and how to race one another. So I think we're on for tonight to have a very, very interesting race. As Matt said, I'm Zach Lindler, joined alongside our current reigning Prospect Series champion, Alex Hallinar of Binghamton University. Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about tonight's track?
Well, tonight's track, we are at Texas Motor Speedway. It's a 1.5-mile oval located in Fort Worth, Texas. The two sides of the track are totally different from each other. Turns 1 and 2 are very wide and open, little bit less steep. Turns 3 and 4 are higher banked and more narrow. That will provide some interesting action tonight as drivers want to drive in different ways on each side of the track. This is a fast track. Tire wear will in fact be a factor. Pit strategy for tonight. If this thing goes green, we are looking at a 2-stop strategy. However, these cars are really hard to drive. Just looking at practice, guys seem to be on the edge. These guys do not have the side force that they had with the Gen 6 cars, and as a result, there might be some cautions from that. So I would expect the strategy to be determined by when the cautions fly.
You're absolutely right. This track, you mentioned the tires. This track chews up tires, as we saw in the NASCAR Cup Series race on Sunday. Is a lot of drivers running into problems with tires. Now, obviously, iRacing is not an exact replica of what we see on track, so hopefully we won't see some random blown tires out of nowhere. But you'll definitely see tire strategy being the key point in the pit strategy tonight. Well, our practice session has just ended. We're going to move into qualifying here. Drivers have 10 minutes to go out by themselves and set 3 laps on this track alone. And the fastest of those 3 laps will set their order in the field tonight. So we're going to take a look at the 22 of Austin DeLong from Pennsylvania Tech. Now we're looking at the 119 of Jeff Peake. Going to look out and try to set some laps here. Going to follow along with him. Excuse me, that's the 14 of Connor Levy. Bear with us. We're still learning the new paint schemes and numbers, as well as some rookies that have come on since last season, one of which is Connor Levy from Arizona State University. Put on a great showing last weekend in his debut in the CiL Cup Series. So starting lap 1 here for Connor Levy, we're going to try and ride on board with him here around Texas Motor Speedway. You can see the entry into 1. It's a very wide, not a very steep corner compared to 3 and 4. We're going to hug this bottom line, wash up to the outside, carry as much speed as possible down the backstretch, using every bit of right rear tire that you can to get the drive off through turns 3 and 4, not lifting very much. This is a very fast set of corners here, but a little more narrow than turns 1 and 2. Puts you out back onto the front stretch and across the finish line. We're going to see where that puts him as we have our first set of times starting to roll in. I believe that is a 30.53 for Levy, a 30.42 right now, 30.39 is our current pole set by Rhett Crane, the number 6 machine out of, we are checking, Ball State University, also a rookie this season.
Yeah, rookies were very strong last week. Connor Levy, the driver that we are currently on board with, won the pole last week at Kansas, 2 weeks ago, but last race. Also, the 2nd to 4th place drivers in last races, the Kansas Prospect race, were rookies. So we have a bunch of rookies here, a lot of fresh talent into the league. I expect Connor Levy to have a good qualifying run. He also was 2nd fastest in practice, so that should hopefully carry on to qualifying. Right now we are following Cody Carey as he gets to the line. This first corner, it's so wide and inviting. It's so easy to miss the bottom, which it looks like Cody might have just a little bit there, and then you drive a little deep, you're tight center, and that might make you loose off. Come down this backstretch, and you have to think about, oh, what am I going to do for 3? It's just a little bit of a lift early in the run, but it's also how much throttle do you give it? Because there's a bump right there in turns 3 and 4 that gets you loose. We see Cody gets loose. Might have touched the grass. Kept it straight. Unfortunately, that's going to hurt both that lap and this lap. He's slowing down, which either tells me he's either going to try and get another full lap in, or that might be it for his qualifying run.
Cody Carey, another rookie out of Ball State University, actually won the Premier Series race last week, our Great Plains 200 at Kansas Speedway. So you mentioned that the rookies were very strong. The rookies have come out absolutely guns a-blazing this season. They've done very well against our seasoned drivers such as Austin DeLong and Thomas Toomey, even sticking it to bigger names such as Jared Kaler and Ryan Fenty, although Fenty didn't have the best of races last week in the in the Premier race. But yes, the rookies have done quite well, and we're excited to see where they go for this season.
Yeah, speaking of the Premier Series, the Prospect Series is a stepping stone into that series. These drivers racing here tonight probably want a shot at the big show tomorrow, and to do that, they need to be top 16 in points. So they're going to try and do that tonight, and that starts with a good qualifying round, which is what they're doing now. Right now, we're flying on board with Scott Ratliff, and he gets super loose, and he's mowing the grass.
Going to keep it straight, though, but I don't think that last lap will count, and if it does, it won't be too good. And Ratliff going to park it and pull a packet in, at least until the race starts. Right now, Zach DeWale out of St. Clair College, another one of our outstanding rookies, has set the pole time with a 30.23, followed by Edwin Onofre with a 30.24. So less than a tenth separating first, I believe, all the way down to 7th. So these guys are giving it all they can, leaving it all out on the track to try and secure this pole for tonight's race.
Yes, qualifying is going to be important for this race. Texas has been a bit infamous in real life for being a place that's hard to pass. Even though with the Gen 6 car with the next gen car that we saw with the race on Sunday, it was easier to pass. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with any tire issues, but we do get to keep the ability to pass. So, even still, these lap times are super close. We're talking hundreds, even thousands of a second separating some of these guys.
Looking on at another hotshot rookie out of Ball State University. Ball State grew their program in very large ways over this off-season and over the summer, adding 3 or 4 drivers that have all come out and proven their worth already on the grid. Alif has already shown his dominance in our roadside in Formula C in the GT3 series. He is, I believe, top 3 in both of those series in overall points right now. So hopefully he can carry that success over into the oval side as well. I know last week he got caught up in some incidents at Kansas. Didn't really get very far, but that's the nature of oval racing, and hopefully he'll be able to stay out of trouble tonight and bring in another big points haul for Ball State.
Yeah, as he comes off turn 4 to complete another lap. Let's see, where is he? Jumps up to 4th fastest at the moment. And he will have one more lap. Gets off at 2. That was a pretty good 1 and 2. Tire pressure is going to be up, probably to an optimal level at this point. Now, how much will he stay in the gas here? That's the question. He gets close to the line. You want to be close to that line without actually touching. If you touch it, you're going to get super loose. I taps the wall. Unfortunately, that's going to end his qualifying attempt. But really good lap, and if he can do that in the actual race, that'd be very good.
Doesn't look like he improved on that. So with just under 3 minutes left in the session, Alif is sitting on a provisional 4th place right now. Looking at Cody Fadenhauer in the 804 from Virginia Commonwealth University, the alumni. If you're new to the Collegiate iRacing League, we have 2 classes. We have students and we have alumni. And you can tell who is who based off of the colored windshield banners and spoilers on the car. So if you look at Cody's car, you'll notice that he has a red windshield banner and a red spoiler. that means he's an alumni. If it's blue, that means the driver's a student. So you're riding on board just off the front bumper of Fadenhauer as he makes his qualifying runs. Got a very shallow exit off of turn 2. Going to try and set up a good run here into turn 3, tucking it about a car length off the bottom. Going to take that late apex to try and get some more speed down the front straightaway. Looks like he's going for a second lap, fastest lap attempt here. Going to cross the line, see where this puts him. I believe that is a... does that say 30.79? Yes, so obviously a setup lap there from Fadenhauer. So we're going to see if he can improve on that this time around. Got a way better launch out of turn 2 this time. Going to take that same line, although he doesn't quite get down to the apex through 3 and 4. That's going to lose him about a tenth through that corner. A little loose off of 4 and to the line. I don't know that this will be any better, but let's see where this puts him. Moves him up to 11th provisionally with just over a minute left in qualifying. 30.44, Fadenhauer just set. 30.23 is the time to beat. Zach from St. Clair College's Zach DeWale, followed by Edwin Onofre with a 30.24, as well as Rhett Crane also with a 30. Actually, we have three 30.24s there for 2, 3, and 4 from Onofre, Crane, and Leaf. So, like we said before, these guys are leaving it all out on the track. They're going to really send the car as hard as they can. Tires don't matter. You just want to figure out how to get around it as fast as possible. And I do believe Cody is the last one out on track. So, with about 30 seconds left, this should be final.
So as we're just waiting up to finish up some qualifying, Zach, what are your thoughts on how this race is going to play out? Just quickly, before we have to read the grid.
Well, if Sunday's race was any indication, and listening to some feedback that some of these drivers have given from practice and test sessions throughout the week, I think we're in for some chaos being sown tonight. I think this is going to be another war of attrition. I think whoever survives it at the end, whoever's able to manage their tires, is going to be the one who comes out on top.
Yes, I think restarts are going to be super important tonight. I think it will be decently hard to pass, or actually, maybe that it's not hard to pass, but that if you can get the moves done in the first couple laps of a restart, it may be easier on your tires as compared to a little bit later in the run where you have to set up the pass and get around them. So I think the key will be the restarts, getting as many spots as you can, and just not burning your tires, so that way you can have a good couple corners.
Now you say go for it on the restarts and try not to burn up your tires, but that's way easier said than done. Would you prefer to really send it on the restart and try to gain those positions, or would you rather play the long con and save your tires, maybe sacrifice a few positions on the restart, but in about 10 or 12 laps you're going to be outpacing everybody else in the field by about a half a tenth a lap, as what we've seen in practice?
Well, what I'm trying to say is, if you can get a spot or two on the restart by just having a good turn 1 and 2, clearing someone, and just being able to, drive away a little bit, that will overall be better on your tires than not getting those spots on the restart and having to pass them under green.
See what you're saying. So you're the more patient type. You're going to wait for somebody to make a mistake on this restart and kind of take those chances as they're given to you. But if a door opens itself, you're going to try and go for it.
Absolutely. That's kind of how I played my races last season, especially in the prospect races, depending on the race itself. The races aren't as super long, so you kind of have to go a little bit aggressive on the restarts. But if you can just sort of hold back, let everyone else burn up tires, by the end of the run, you'll be there, be able to pass them, and be on your way to victory lane.
Well, I'm gonna trust in your words of wisdom coming from the current Prospect Series champion. So clearly, you know what you're doing out there on the track. So I'm gonna take what you have to say. Take your word for it. I think you're right that the aggression on the restarts is definitely going to come out with the bunched up fields. You have the opportunity to really make some passes out on the track. But you have to think, what is it doing to my tires? What is it going to do on this? If we get a super long run with green flag pit stops, what is this going to look like 10, 20 laps down the road? And I think that's what some of the drivers are trying to practice right now, is that race pace, as we've seen these warm-up times come down a little bit. So maybe some drivers out here trying some tire saving strategies, going to try and not drive it as deep in the corner, maybe coast through the center, try to get a little less of aggressive, but still a little less aggressive off the corner, but try and save some of those tires and momentum.
You mentioned a good point about how these restarts are going to be close. Something that changed within the Collegiate iRacing League for the Oval Series is we will now be using the iRacing restart zones. Before, as long as the pace car was off the field, you had until the flagman waved the green flag to go. That gave a huge zone for the leader to go, made the restarts a bit unpredictable, and it would allow the leader to get a huge jump and go away. With these new restart rules, the field should be a lot closer. Force tack going to turn 1, and also with turn 1, it's so easy to just dive in there a little bit deep. If you're the leader, you can miss the bottom, and all of a sudden you can be 3 wide coming off the corner. At that point, you might lose some spots. And if you lose some spots on the restart, you might have to burn your tires on the run to get those spots back.
And there we see the common denominator coming back to tires, tires, tires. This track is infamous for chewing up tires. Really, as long as I've been watching Cup races here at Texas, this place has been infamous for chewing up tires. So, like we said already, that's going to be a very, very key aspect to strategy. And if we see green flag pit stops, that'll definitely be at the forefront of everybody's mind, with their in the driver's mind, in the crew chief's mind, and in the spotter's mind. When do I need tires?
There probably will be cautions. Take them then. However, this thing goes green, that decision might get harder.
Checkered flag has flown on our warm-up session. The drivers are warmed up, and they are ready to race. So let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid for tonight's Lone Star 120. Your pole sitter from St. Clair College, Zachary DeWale, takes his first pole position in the Collegiate iRacing League, followed by Edwin Onofree from University of North Texas in the 99 machine. Second row, Rhett Crane from Ball State, and R. Alif from Ball State University. Third row, Connor Levy, the student from Arizona State, followed by Cody Carey from Ball State University. Treston Yoder and Joshua Tiggs take up row 4. Austin DeLong and Cody Fadenhauer take up row 5.
Andrew McCall from Purdue University will start 11th. Scott Ratliff will start in P12. Daniel Hunter will start from the 13th spot. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading these names. Jarek Grodzicki will start in the 14th spot. Matthew Warren from Valparaiso University will start 15th. Riley Daniels will start 16th. Ethan Decatur will start 17th. And are Jeff Pete, are they actually going to be running? I don't think. Oh, he is going to start in the 18th spot. And Garrett Vinton will start last in 19th.
That is your starting grid for tonight's Lone Star 120. All right, Alex. It's kind of last minutes to get him in quick, but who's your pick to win tonight's race?
I'm going to have to go with Connor Levy. He showed a lot of speed in practice. The question is, can he sustain that speed on the longer run?
I think I'm going to go with Cody Carey. Last week, he won the premier race at Kansas on tire strategy. He conserved his tires, pitted at the right times, and drove straight past the leaders with 10 laps to go to take on the checkered flag. So I'm looking for him in the Ball State machine with two of his teammates starting in front of him to work together and take this checkered flag. The field is 2 by 2 parading their way through turn 4 right now. We're approaching the restart zone. The pace car is off. Cars 2 by 2. We are ready to roll here at Texas. The leader is the control car entering the Geico restart zone. And here we go. Green flag is out. We are racing from Texas.
Zachary DeWale got a really good jump, even though we have this new restart rule. He went at the end of the restart box, and unfortunately Edwin Onofre sleeping there. We got some 2 by 2 towards the back of the field, but the first couple guys are already single file.
We've already seen that the very front settle out single file as we complete lap 1 of this 80-lap event, but still some 2-wide action right here coming across the stripe between the 29 and a couple of other drivers. I see the 09, the 22, and I believe that is one of the Valparaiso cars in there. Can't quite see who that is. Treston Yoder Robert Morris University. Treston Yoder right there in the mix. 2 wide with Austin DeLong of the 22. A little contact right there going into turn 3. I don't think Yoder's going to like that very much, but they settle out single file between the two of them. Cody Fadenhauer in the 804. Looks like he might have made a little contact right there with another car coming across the stripe right there, but everybody's still going straight into lap 3.
Something that I noticed, you have a lot of guys running different lines. I don't know if that's a product of guys purposely trying to run different lines, or just guys that are struggling with the handling of the car and their car isn't going where they want it to go. But that's interesting. And, oh man, I'm just looking at some of these guys, like I'm looking at Garrett Vidden the car in front of it, Andrew McCall, and these guys are very squirrely coming off the corners. Won't take much of a tap for them to go around.
Looking at a battle for the lead right here. It looks like Edwin Onofre is going to try and go around the outside of Zach DeWale here in turns 3 and 4. Not going to be the move that works. He was alongside, going to keep it just barely off the wall, but gets a little bit of a run outside the 0-2 here. The 99 is going to look up high still into turn 1 right here, followed closely by Rhett Crane in the number 6 machine. Right behind there in third, that's now going to allow the 14 of Connor Levy into the mix. He's back there, and he's loving watching this out of his front mirror. The two leaders now side by side into 3 out of 4. Onofre's actually got a little bit of an advantage coming across the stripe. He will be credited with leading that lap. So maybe Onofre's found something running that middle line through 3 and 4, which I'll be honest, I didn't know existed. I thought Texas was a one-lane track.
Well, there are two guys that are looking at this battle and are licking their chops. Rhett Crane and Connor Levy are watching the two leaders burn up their tires, and they're like, hey guys, you go ahead, burn your stuff, because if this thing goes green, we're going to be there at the end of the run.
Now you see the number 6 of Rhett Crane coming under fire from the 14 of Levy. 6 is going to move low to defend that low line, but we are still side by side for the lead between DeWale and Onofre. And it looks like that may have settled itself out. DeWale with a little bit of a slide job, going to clear himself up in front of the 99 machine. And look who's back in the mix. Crane and Levy, the 6 and the 14. Still not out of it yet. We have 4 cars out of the lead. Coming on lap 8, DeWale will return to the lead this time by.
I'm not really sure about the outside lane here. I think the inside lane is the way to go. I see Edwin's trying to do something. I'm just worried if he's going to burn up his tires up there, and right now he's actually let Rhett Crane on his inside.
And I think that's probably what we're going to start seeing in the next few laps. If this battle continues, you can see the 99 that time by through 1 and 2 took the outside line. Maybe not out of choice, but out of necessity, with the 6 ducking low. But we've already seen a little bit of a pace drop from the 99.
We have 2 cars spinning on the front stretch. We got Joshua Teagues. He's in the grass. I don't know if that's going to be a caution.
He's
going to keep it going. Also, Scott Ratliff also had a spin coming off of 4.
I think the two of them might have gotten together, but we stay green.
Yes, that's a really big thing there. That going green. It's so easy to get loose off of 4. These cars don't
Oh,
have the
stop.
side draft they had last year, and that was actually 2 separate incidents.
2 incidents.
Fortunately, none of them caused the yellow, and we are still green. We will still have this great battle going on. Zachary DeWale has actually pulled away from who right now. Rhett Crane is in second, followed by Edwin Onofre.
Joshua Tiggs, you saw right there, was able to keep rolling, but this battle up front is heating up as Zach DeWale has now pulled out to about a half a second lead over Rhett Crane, who has gotten by the 99. So maybe you're right. That outside lane may have worked temporarily, but how much tire did it cost Edwin in the 99 as he's now fallen behind the 6 and now coming under fire from the 14 of Levy behind, the 14 of Levy behind. Looks like the 99's fighting some tight conditions. Maybe going to let the 14 around because he knows he's slower. But the 14 of Levy has now worked himself into the final podium spot.
Something I've kind of noticed from the leaders, Zachary DeWell and Connor Levy have taken a earlier braking approach into turn 1 than Rhett Crane and Edwin have. I think in the long run that will help their tire wear, and they'll be able to pull away from them just because they're not diving it in as deep in turn 1 and saving their stuff.
Saw the 804 of Cody Fadenhauer right there. We were looking at him earlier. Got a little bit loose off of turn 4, took another slide through the grass, and I believe Race Control has asked him to enter the pits because he's having connection issues. You saw during the replay the car kind of disappearing, reappearing, disappearing again. Well, that is iRacing's way of taking care of spotty network connections instead of keeping the car on track where you could potentially, they call it net code into somebody else, which is where iRacing thinks you made contact, but you actually didn't. If you're having spotty connections, iRacing will just remove your car from the game and put it back in when it has an established connection. But Race Control has called the 804 to pit road to try and fix those connections. So, unfortunate hardware issues for the 804 Fadenhauer right there. He's got a fast car. We'll see if he's able to bring it back in soon.
Well, I'm just looking at the battle for second. Connor Levy has gotten by Rhett Crane, and I wouldn't call it much of a battle. It seemed like Rhett Crane has been struggling with some looseness, which is actually the opposite of the issue Edwin was having. So it's possibly that, certain drivers are burning up different tires, and that's affecting their handling different, where some guys are getting loose, some guys are getting tight, depending on how they're driving this car.
Already we're seeing these tires come into play as Alif has gotten by, Alif has gotten by Onofre for the 4th position. So the 99 machine falling back in the field, going to maybe come under fire from the 22 of Austin DeLong in the next couple of laps or so. I think you're right. That may have been what happened in the Levy Crane battle up front that you said really wasn't much of a battle. As Levy drove by and now is making a march towards the 02, our leader Zach DeWale out of St. Clair College.
I just saw Cody Carey come up from the apron. He got super loose coming at it too, almost to the point where it looked like he was coming out of the pits with how low he was. Yeah, so you have a lot of guys getting loose off the corners, guys that are tight. And actually, in fact, if you're tight, then
split the uprights right there. Wow.
Yeah, so the thing about driving a race car, if you're loose off the corner, that may not be because your car is loose. That could be because you are so tight center of the corner that you got wheel in it, you're giving it gas, and all of a sudden the car just gets loose. So I wonder, who's driving the car in what way? Who realizes that, oh, I'm so loose, I'm going to drive this in a way, to make my car drive tighter, and they're just making themselves more loose. Especially in turns 1 and 2, that just invites you so much to overdrive the corner, and once you start understeering, you got wheel in it, got gas in it, and all of a sudden you're loose off the corner.
You say that almost like you have experience driving
I do. I'm an INEX Legend Car driver, or head raceway.
So the on-track experience gives you just a bunch of knowledge that you can bring to the track, it seems. And not to beat a dead horse here, but the Prospect Series champion clearly knows what he's talking about on the broadcast. So yeah, you're right. That is something that a lot of drivers have noted, is they have to be extremely cautious of how they drive the car through the center, especially 1 and 2, where you're using all that right side tire to rotate the car. You want that car to rotate naturally. You don't want to have to force it to rotate by full down hammering the throttle like you did with these Gen 6, like you did with the old Gen 6 cars.
Yeah, actually, it even starts before the middle of the corner. It starts when you enter the corner. I noticed before that there were some guys that were, slowing down a little bit earlier. Like you mentioned, Doyle and Levy as, 2 drivers that were backing off earlier in the corner. Not only does that help, or it does help tire wear, but basically if you drive in there so deep, you have to turn the wheel to actually turn the car, and that just scrubs the rubber off the car. So you have to drive in here the right way. Not only drive fast to not burn your stuff up. So I'm looking at guys like Zachary,
Oh, 99 in the wall right there,
and Connor Levy, and going, okay, they're faster than everyone else, but I don't think they're necessarily burning up their tires. I think they're driving in a way that is both fast and good for the tires.
and we're seeing that with how consistent their lap times have been. Obviously, the lap times have come down significantly, but you can see the guys up front are running more consistent lap times with each other than the rest of the field, because they're clearly the better drivers right now. They know how to manage their tires. They know where on the track they can rotate the car with the throttle. They know where it needs to rotate on its own. And that's part of really knowing the car and the practice. We have gotten word that the 804 of Cody Fadenhauer has been disqualified due to spotty internet connections. So an unfortunate run there for the 804. He was doing well up until those issues. So hopefully he can get them fixed, and he'll be back next week, or excuse me, next race later on. But looking up front, our battle for the lead has heated up. You can see the 02 of DeWale coming under fire from the 14 of Levy. The 14 has worked about 2/10 off of that lead, or excuse me, about 5/10. That lead was up to about 8/10 of a second a few laps ago. So maybe the 14, as we approach this 1/3 point in the race, going to try and turn on the afterburners a little bit, as we're now potentially looking to green flag pit stops.
Absolutely. I think the window for a 2-tire stop will be coming up in about, somewhere between 7 to 10 laps. But for now, these guys, they're pulling away from the fields. They're just looking at the way that their cars are driving. I know that everyone has the same fixed setup, but just looking at these 2 guys, they seem like they're driving in control, and that's just faster. Looking at some guys in the back of the pack, they seem really squirrely. These guys, they're not burning up their stuff, and that's only going to compound as the run goes on, and we are getting later into the run.
Now, Alex, did I hear you say a 2-tire stop?
One stop is definitely possible. The only issue is, I think someone was mentioning in the practice, I think it was Connor Levy, typed a message saying that after 40 laps, he had 21% right rear. That might force a 2-tire strategy, but we don't know. We're not Larry Mack. We're not one of these crew chiefs out there. It's also kind of what the drivers feel like. If you're like a Connor Levy or the Whale, you kind of feel like, okay, well, my tires actually feel okay. I'll just do the 1 stop. So we'll see in the next 10 laps what these drivers are going to choose.
I think we are seeing the start of green flag pit stops as Matthew Warren from Valparaiso. Let's see, he makes his pit stop here. So he's going to pick up 4 fresh Goodyear rubbers and get back out on track. And I'm interested to see what the pace difference is now, as you see Jarrett Grodziski has now made his way past the 99 of Onofre. So I think you should see the 99 coming to pit road here very soon. Now that Warren has kicked off the pit stops from there at the back.
Yes, it seems like Edwin may have burned up his tires early in the run and just anchored out as he actually just tapped the wall coming out of 4. I wouldn't be surprised that he might be a candidate for a two-tire strategy if he thinks that is the way to go.
Well, if you're trying to stick to a two-stop strategy, it's getting a little late in the run to try and make that first stop. You mentioned guys in practice running almost on the cords of the tire 40 laps in, and this being an 80-lap race that would split it exactly in half. So approaching lap 30 now, as we've just completed the first part of this race. I think we're going to start seeing some guys come into pit road, but looks like the general consensus may be a little bit of I'll go when you go. You know, a little pit stop chicken here. Who's going to be the first of the leaders to come into pit road? Because I think you'll see a waterfall of pit stops after that. You see this battle for the 8th position now. Andrew McCall right up to the bumper of the 22 of DeLong. Momentarily right there, DeLong gets a better run into 3 and 4. Going to try and use some of what little tire he has left to keep the 018 Purdue machine behind him. We're going to see how this battle plays out into the green flag pit stop cycle.
Yeah, so as these tires are wearing, it's just going to be even harder for guys to hit their mark. You saw there were like 5 cars in shot there going in turns 1 and 2. I think there were 5 different lines ran. Yeah, so the guys are not having the grip they had at the start of the run, and they're honestly just waiting to get to these pit stops. They just want to get that tires on this feel goods.
You mentioned 5 different lines right there, at least that you saw. Do you think any of those were intentional?
Nope. I think they're aiming for a point, and the car is going to drive at a different point.
I'm going to point it. If it gets there, if it gets there, it gets there. I'm too wide here.
Austin
the 018 and the 22. The 22 is going to... Yep, here he comes. Green flag pit stops have begun. That's the 22 of Austin DeLong from Penn Tech, going to be the first of our front runners on pit road. And I believe you'll see everybody coming in very soon afterwards. The spotters have gotten on the radios that, yes, we have somebody on pit road. So he'll come down pit road, get 4 fresh tires, and let's see what this looks like as he comes out back onto the track.
Yes, I'm actually looking at the battle for the lead. Connor Levy has fallen back to 1.1 seconds behind the 02. But actually, our Muhammad Alif is actually in 3rd. 1.6 seconds behind the leader. There might actually be a little bit of a battle between Alif and Levy before these pit stops commence.
These guys are going to try and decide who's going to be in front when these pit stops come out. We talked about how great Alif was on the roadside. He's showing a bit of oval prowess now as he's hunting down Connor Levy in the 14. Alif is going to try to get in front of Levy for when that green flag pit stop comes about. Now, if you're the 14 and you see the 12 coming in your mirror hard, do you want to try and come into pit road this time by so you don't have to worry about that down the road, or are you going to try and stick this out and see if you can stay and outlast the 12?
I think at this point you have to stay out and try the one-stop strategy. We just started lap 36. I think your window to do a two-stop strategy has ended. At this point, you might as well wait the 4 laps. It might be a bit of a struggle, as we see Alif miss the bottom there. As we even see some really crazy racing back here, where we got guys on different sets of tires. But yeah, I would wait till, about halfway. Also, we got guys on different tire strategies. This is the kind of point of the race where caution can happen, where you have someone that's 3 seconds off the pace compared to someone else because of tires.
All right, here we go. The leader, Zach DeWales, last lap time was a 32.
Connor Levy just got past there. He got really loose off of 4 there. Had a let off, and Alif got by for second.
You mentioned just trying to make it those last 4 laps, and it looks like the 14, just a little mistake right there, has let the 12 by. But we mentioned the lap time difference. Last time by, Zach DeWale, 32.
We got Connor Levy is pitting.
Levy is in the pits. Let's see what Austin DeLong did that time by 30.459. So almost 2-second difference between fresh tires and old. And now you see the 14 has come to pit road. Looks like the 99 of Onofre has come down as well. Has just entered pit road. So we're going to see a very, very busy pit road here in the next couple of laps.
Yes, I think we will. Even though I think we might have some guys wait until exactly halfway just to even off the tire wear as much as possible. Also, something interesting to note, tire wear gets better as rubber is laid down the track. There's been 40 laps of rubber that was put down in this first run. So theoretically, the tire wear should be better for these last 40 laps. As wow, you have some guys way off the bottom.
That almost looked like somebody trying the top.
I don't think that was intentionally trying the top. I think the car said, I'm going to the top. So Austin DeLong is behind these guys, and he's going to have to wait, get a run off the corner. So we've got Rhett Crane coming down pit road. He's going to get some Mr. Feelgoods. At this point, we are basically at halfway, so I would expect guys like Alif and the Whale to come in this lap, if not the next lap. Which actually I see DeWale is staying out an additional lap. Maybe they think that a caution could be coming out, and if they pit, they're going to go a lap down. But in terms of if this race goes green, they will lose some time to guys like Levy that just got some fresh tires.
Well, and as we just saw, that difference is 2 seconds a lap. So 15 lap and about 10-15 laps, these guys that have pitted on fresher tires can unlap themselves, but I really don't see the O2 and the other leaders staying out for another 15 laps. I think, we've been hyping this up all race, so it's like, come on, man, just get in the pits. But you're really, really pushing it right now. Based on the data, you only have about a fifth of your tire tread remaining. As there we see some guys coming to pit road, the 018 of Andrew McCall from Purdue. 521 of Daniels from Robert Morris smoked the tires getting on the pit road right there, but it doesn't really matter because all of those are coming off as well.
Yes, I'm curious to see exactly how long these guys stay out. You would think that the best time to pit would have been around lap 40. Are these guys going to wait until the fuel tank is almost empty? Are they hoping for a caution, or at some point are they going to take their loss and say, hey, I just got to pit now, and just try playing catch up for the last 37 months?
Well, and I think now that with Grodzisky from Kansas State University coming into the pits, that's going to put us at over half the field that has pit. So I think if you're a crew chief of one of these guys up front, you need to say, come in this time by.
And that's the leaders are coming in.
The leaders are coming in together.
First
so DeWale followed right behind by Alif. Alif did get a little bit of did decrease that gap a little bit coming into pit road because the O2 smoked the tires. So we're going to see who gets the better pit stop coming in. Both of them, looks like they hit their marks on entry. So this is going to be a very close race coming off of pit road. The O2 has the slight advantage getting into their box first. So this is a great camera angle from our producer where we're going to see this battle off of pit road. Right as it happens, the O2 gets the better launch, and it looks like might have put a little bit of time on Alif getting out of pit road, so no change in the top two. But where does that shake up the rest of the field? It looks like, Treston Yoder has inherited the lead and will pit from the lead, so he'll be credited with leading a lap. You just saw him coming into pit road. Connor Levy back out on track. I believe that's going to put him somewhere close to the front.
He is.
Timing
well
is
in the front.
To update.
Connor Levy has yet to pit.
Connor Levy pit a couple laps prior to the Whale and Alif, and that's correlated to a pretty large gap, about 9 seconds. That is the that's the difference between the entrance to turn 1 and the exit of turn 1. That is a pretty big gap, but there's still quite a bit of time. You know, the 02 and the 12 are going to have fresher tires. They're going to be playing catch-up on Connor Levy at the end of this race.
Joshua Tiggs right now scored in the second position, 6 seconds back off of Connor Levy. So gaining a lot, or gained a lot that time by about, I believe you said the lead was about 9 seconds off of second place. So Connor Levy having some issues, I guess, or has he pit yet? I can't remember.
Connor Levy did pit on that 37.
He did. Okay, so maybe my timing is just wrong.
Also,
I've been known to have issues before.
I'm looking at Zachary DeWale, and he's got a couple of lap cars between him and Connor Levy. He's getting around Ethan Decatur right now. He's going to have Joshua Teagues right now, who's on really old tires, and Tristan Yoder, who just came out of pits, who was actually a lap down, but still is in between him and the leader.
So Zach DeWale and our Leaf had a lot of work to do to try and
Ethan
get past the lead.
Decatur
We got a car
spinning
in
in the grass. He's keeping it straight. This looks like this will not be a yellow.
And stay green. Ethan Decatur, another Valparaiso car. Valparaiso is another program that has grown a lot this summer. They've added quite a few drivers to their lineup, but unfortunate to see just a simple mistake there from the 00. It's going to send him on a trip through the meadow. But he kept it straight and will be able to keep going. Looking now at our
Austin
battle
DeLong
for
getting
third
loose
place.
too off of 4. It's so easy to do that off 4 if you're tight center and you got gas in it, and all of a sudden the rear end just comes out from you. It's so easy. We've seen so many guys do it. Unfortunately, most guys that have done that have been able to save it. We haven't had a caution yet.
We saw that happen on Sunday, Sunday. We saw that happen with Kyle Busch. He got loose off of turn 4 just like that, but he slid up into the wall.
Austin
loose
DeLong
again right there. DeLong's in the
hard
wall.
in the wall.
This might be a caution. Nope, he's going to keep it going, but who knows how much damage he has to that right side suspension.
I think he might think he has a toe link broken.
Austin DeLong loose off of turn 4 for 2 laps in a row. Kept it clean the first time, but you can save it once, but you can't save it twice. He got into the wall, and it looks like he's going to have to bring it back into the pits to get some suspension components fixed, and that's really unfortunate. He was having a great race running inside the top 10 really that whole time up until then. So it's a heartbreaker for the 22 and the Pentec team. You hate to see it. As we're going to get a replay here, it looks like. Maybe back it up just a little more. Here we go. So on the high side of turns 3 and 4, we talked about that bump up there at the beginning of the broadcast. Doesn't look like he caught that bump, but
it's overcorrected it.
Yeah.
And then hit it once, and then hit it right where the wall changes direction there. Fortunately, drivers in the series do get one quick repair. Austin DeLong has used his quick repair, but unfortunately, because that was under green, he lost at least 1 lap from that.
And I believe he is coming out scored as 1 lap down this time by. So, yeah, you mentioned the quick repair. For those who are newer to iRacing, who aren't familiar with it, iRacing has an option called the quick repair or fast repair, where the league has granted each driver 1 use of it. So basically what that means is if you crash or if you hit the wall and you break something, you can come down pit road, check that box in your interface, and the game gives you a brand new car, brand spanking new. So that's unfortunate it's an unfortunate circumstance for DeLong, but kind of a blessing in disguise as he's now got new tires to work with till the end of the race, coming up on, I believe this will be 26 to go this time by. If you're just joining us, welcome to tonight's Prospect Series College Cup Series race from Kansas Speedway. We're running the Lone Star 120. Connor Levy is in the lead and has a sizable lead at that. However, it is coming under fire from the 0-2 of Zach the Whale from St. Clair College, who dominated the first part of this race up until green flag pit stops. Connor Levy, one of the first cars to pit, and that has put him in the lead. He used that advantage on new tires to drive up to the front and around the guys on pit road when they came to take the lead. But that 4-second lead is coming down lap by lap. We see 3 seconds flat at the line that time by.
Yeah, that lap, that gap has gone down a lot. At the start of the run, it was 10 seconds as we see Cody Carey, another guy that is mowing the lawn here tonight. I think.
Oh, you killed the cone. No!
I think Texas Motor Speedway should give CiL some sort of money because we're doing a lot of lawn care on the front stretch. But yeah, that gap is going down a lot. Zachary DeWale was like 10 seconds behind Cody Levy coming out of the pit stops. That gap is already down to 2.1 seconds. And it's coming down a couple tenths a lap. There's still 23 laps to go, but unfortunately, I think Connor Levy's tires are showing their age. Also, I did notice that a couple lap cars were able to unlap themselves, that being Matthew Warren and Daniel Hunter, who are now on the tail end of the lead lap.
Yeah, you mentioned those older tires really showing themselves. It's kind of the blessing and the curse of being one of the first cars to pit is, yeah, you're going to have a massive advantage in the near run. And you'll be able to hopefully get by the leaders as they come to pit road. However, when you see your tires age, your tires are going to be a lot older than the guys behind you who are trying to run you down, the former leaders. They have about, I believe, 10 lap newer tires, and we saw the pace drop off significantly, about 5, 6, 7 tenths from lap 0 to lap 10. And that gap is now down to a second that time by. So Zach the Whale is closing in, and he is closing in hard, about a second a lap. And we're seeing most of those gains through turns 1 and 2, which rely so heavily on those right side tires. So Zach the Whale closely pursued by our Elite, or well, not closely anymore, as he seems to have driven away to about a 4-second lead over the third place machine of Elite. But we're looking for this battle for the lead to heat up here, as now DeWale can see Levy's bumper out of his front windshield, about 2 car lengths off this time through 3 and 4. Going to get a way better run off the front, down the front stretch here. Lap traffic coming into play. Maybe Levy can use the lap traffic as a pit here into turn 1. Doesn't look like he can get alongside him, though. Oh, yes, he can. Levy sticks his nose up under the Ball State machine right there. And DeWale's going to try and go for it on the outside here, or on the inside here. As the 14 moves up high, the 0-2 gets a better run down the inside, uses those newer tires to really get a good drive off the corner. Takes the preferred line through 3 and 4 and has cleared the 14. The 0-2 of Zach DeWale has re-inherited his lead, as now we have 19 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, that was... I wasn't expecting, to go down as fast as it did, as Cody Carey going way wide. Zachary DeWale will easily pass him. Tristan Yoder is also going to try that. But we got such a gaggle behind Connor. He is at such a tire disadvantage right now. I don't see, I think at this point he's trying to maybe either hope for a caution or just ride it out for the last 23 laps. And yeah, not really looking good for Connor right now. My pick for the night, Austin DeLong on the fresh tire, on the fresh car. He's going to pass 2 cars in one, even though neither of those count.
Carry in the wall right there. That was a hard hit. Looks like he got a little loose off of turn 2 right there, overcorrected into the wall. He was in a battle right there with the 09 of Tristan Yoder for the free car, or for the free pass position should a caution come out. But yeah, even tougher luck for my pick tonight. which is unfortunate. I don't really have a very good track record of picking the winners. So
We're going to be having a battle for second really quickly. Our Muhammad Alif hasn't been catching Levy as quickly as the Whale did, but he's right there. In a lap or two, we're going to have another battle.
And instead of being about 3 seconds off the leader, Alif has now chopped that lead down to about 2 seconds over the past about 3 laps or so. So with 16 coming to 15 laps to go this time by, we may still have ourselves a battle for the lead just yet. As you see, Alif going to stick his nose up under the 14 down the back straightaway. You saw the 14 get a little loose right there. Going to take away the preferred line through 3 and 4, and that will secure Alif in that second position, where now he can set his sights on the 0-2 of DeWale. That gap down now to about 1.8 seconds this time by. So the gap to the leader is coming down, but I don't quite think Alif will have enough pace to catch the leader in the next 15 laps. As there you see the battle for the lead, that interval coming down ever so slightly. So the Alif is running significantly quicker lap times in the magnitudes of, there you see 5/10 all the way down to 1/10. Although Alif was in that battle with Connor Levy for the past 2 laps. So these next couple laps will be great indicators of how this goes. You see a 32.5 that time by for DeWale. Alif ran almost a quarter of a second quicker that time. So quarter of a second, so that's, let me do some quick maths here. With about 8 to go, we should have a battle for the lead on our hands.
Yeah, I'm looking at Connor Levy, and I noted earlier in the broadcast that on that first run, Connor Levy seemed to be in control of his car. I'm noticing this run, not so much. He seems more, squirrely in the rear end. I wonder if, he had that lead up, and he just burned his tires up too soon. That would explain why he's falling back. I didn't expect this gap to be overcame as much as it did. I expect that, maybe now they catch. But I'm a bit shocked to how much Connor Levy's tires have worn out on this run.
Well, and it all seems to come back to the tire degradation. This track chews up tires. You lose pace so quickly, as now we see this battle between the 512 and the 99, or excuse me, the 521. I can't read. This is the battle for the 7th position, the 521 of Daniels from Robert Morris, looking to get around the 99 of Edwin Onofre. However, these two aren't in a battle for a point. Well, yes, they are. This is the Prospect Series. Everybody scored under one banner. Now, if this was the Premier Series, these two would not be locked in a battle because the alumni and the students are scored separately. But both of these guys are really vying for these positions and these points so that they can score their way into the show tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night will be 80 laps. It's a bit of a long race. But tomorrow we will be doing 120 instead of 80. Should be even more exciting. Probably going to have more cars. Even more interesting grid strategy. So if you guys enjoy this, I would recommend tuning into the broadcast tomorrow night for the Premier Series.
One thing the drivers did note in the off-season is that they wanted longer races. They felt that the Prospect races last season were too short. They felt that the Premier races were too short if they went green. So one thing that the admins did in the off-season is they said, hey, you guys want longer races? We're going to make longer races. So our Premier Series will run half full distance of a NASCAR race. So we just had the 400-mile race at Texas. As there you see a little incident right there as the 99 gets loose, trying to get to the back bumper of the 018. But longer races this season means more action, and you don't want to miss any second of it.
I'm watching the leaders right now. 8 laps to go. 0.8 of a second separating 1-2. This should get spicy towards the end. I think Alif will get there, but it's one thing to catch a guy, it's another thing to pass him.
You're absolutely right. Alif can do everything in the book to get to the bumper of the 0-2, but I'm wondering if he's burning up too much tire to catch up to the O2 right there, the whale, and he's not going to have enough to get around him. And you're right, it's one thing to get to the bumper, it's another to get around him.
Yeah, this should get spicy.
0.6 was the gap last time by. Let's see what this looks like this time. About half a second? Yes, 5.55 that time by. So those lap times are starting to even out right now. Maybe Alif has burned up too much of his stuff to try and catch the O2.
It could be dirty air. As you approach a car, you get a little bit more dirty air. Even though the next gen cars, they generate more of their downforce underneath the car. Theoretically, dirty air couldn't be as effective, but it still is a little effective. But yeah, even as I'm noticing, I'm watching Muhammad Alif right now.
Down to 0.4.
He seems more in control of this car now. I think he'll get there, only because it seems like Zachary DeWale, he's driving a little bit harder to try and stay ahead. So I think he's overdriving it too much, and he's just losing a little bit of time. And you'll have 5 tenths to give up, you know, in the course of 5 laps. That might just be enough to where there's a battle on your hands.
As Barney signals 5 to go this time by, we're going to see if we can turn up the heat on this battle for the lead. You're looking at the 12 of our Alif trying to chase down the O2 of Zach the Whale. But now both of these guys are rookies to the CiL. And we mentioned at the top of the show that the rookies came out swinging for the fences, and this is what we're seeing right now. They're absolutely mopping the floor, for lack of a better term, with some of our more experienced drivers in the CiL. These guys have come out. They definitely have experience. As you're now looking at this battle heating up, we're now seeing different lines form. The 12 is going to try and look to the outside, realizes there's nothing there. The O2 has the preferred line through 1 and 2. But the 12 is going to get a massive run down the back straightaway, going to try and peak to that higher line. The 00 lap traffic going to maybe come into play right here. I hope he stays out of it.
22 laps down. He needs to stay out of this.
Off. 3 laps to go.
I think Alif can get the run off here at 2. If he can get on the inside going to 3, I think he has the position.
Look at how he's taking
as Decatur
wider entry. Yeah.
Gets involved in this battle, taking his nose on the outside.
Not sure what the 00 is doing right there, 22 laps down, but I'm sure Alif doesn't like seeing that car bobbling around in his mirror as he's trying to chase the O2 now with 2 laps to go here at Texas. 2 tenths separating the cars that time by. 0.19 seconds is the gap. Alif just can't quite get to the bumper of the O2 to make that move. Now you see the 00 has gone high.
Involved. He's going to get in between these 2 cars.
Oh, that just killed any chance. And that may have just killed any chance of the 12 getting to the O2. Zach the Whale takes the white flag this time by.
Yeah, he's definitely got involved in this battle. Let's see if he tries to pass the leader here. Maybe that will slow the leader up, and Alif
will get a big run right there. He's side by side. I think the O2 got smart and let him go. We're going to see if that has any impact on the 12. Hey. Still 3 tenths back, but doesn't look like he has anything for him. The O2, Zach the Whale, St. Clair College, has been absolutely dominant all day. Ran the strategy that he needed, ran his line, kept it straight. Zach the Whale is a CiL Prospect Series winner.
Air Muhammad Alif was there, just couldn't quite get there and get the job done. Connor Levy is in 3rd, about 6 seconds behind the leader. His tires were definitely bad. Got Garrett Vin coming in 4th. Jared Grodzicki will round out your top 5. So yeah, that was certainly a finish. Might be controversial. It's always controversial when you have a car that is 22 laps down, getting involved with the leaders with a couple laps to go. I'm curious to see in these interviews what the leaders say about that. We do have a lot of rookies in this series. Um, Part of being a rookie is knowing how to be respectful to your fellow drivers, and that's that's definitely something that you have to learn here, and that's something that Ethan and Decatur will certainly hear about in Discord in the coming weeks.
There you see Zachary DeWale, the St. Clair College Saints iRacing Academy driver, burning it down in his first career win in the CIL. So massive congratulations to DeWale and all the St. Clair team members. I know he's got his spotter, Athena Leclerc, who's also a driver for St. Clair, celebrating with him as well. But just an all-around incredible drive from DeWale. So many congratulations to him and to his teammates on a great win. But also congratulations to all of our other rookies who did really well tonight. Alif ran a really good race, keeping his nose in it when it really mattered. He never really was out of the race to begin with. He kept his tires clean that first time around before the pit stops and stayed right with the leader, um, as well as our other rookies who finished very, very well. So, how about let's talk to our race winner, Zach DeWale. Well, you had two great races last week. Couldn't quite finish the job. P2 in the Prospect Series and couldn't quite get the job done in the Premier Series race at Kansas, but you finally won it tonight and in a dominant fashion. How do you feel?
Uh, oh, there's my push start. I feel amazing, honestly. That was stressful. Yeah, I feel great.
So Zachary, first of all, congrats on the win. I just have a question for you. We saw a bunch of pit strategies play out. You decided to not split this run into two. You went a little bit long and you pitted on that like 42 or 43. What was your thought process with that?
That was all my crew chief. That was all Athena. They wanted to give me the best tire we could at the end of it, and it really worked out for us. If I think that was kind of the difference between me and I think it was Cody. So yeah, that's all on Athena. That thought process, and it really worked out.
Well, hey, the strategy worked, and you are in victory lane. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out to tonight?
Oh, where's my? Yeah, yeah, for sure. Sorry, Athena, of course, because they were. If I don't think I would have known to save my tires as much as I did without them yelling at me all race to do it. All my friends that were watching, Riley, Emily, Jordan. That was a lot of fun, man. That was a good race.
All right, man. Thank you for taking the time to interview us. Have a great night, and if you're running Prospect tomorrow, enjoy that race too.
Will do. Thank you.
That was Zach DeWale, our race winner tonight. Many congratulations to him. And I said, Athena Leclerc, the spotter, no, they were the crew chief. So giving credit where credit is due. You heard Zach talk about the call with the end game in mind, giving him the best tires he could possibly have at the end of the run. And that's what won him the race tonight. So how about let's talk to our runner up for tonight's race, our Leaf.
Arleif, it's Alex in the booth. I just have a question for you. So you ran 80 laps tonight in the prospect race. Is there anything that you can take from tonight that you can transfer over to the Premier Series tomorrow?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, first of all, just big congrats to the winner, Zachary. He did an amazing job with the tires and race pace. But yeah, I mean, just running in 30 air, running with traffic, and then managing the tires. That's just invaluable experience, and I'm gonna bring that over for tomorrow.
Well, a Leaf we saw right at the very end, the double zero lap traffic really making his name known in more ways than one in that battle for the lead. Do you feel like that affected your run to the O2 right there at the end? And if so, do you think it was a little unfair? Should he have stayed out of it?
I mean, yes, of course it did affect, but I'm also aware that blue flag drivers are. I mean, if they're faster, they can pass. So it's within the rules, and I know in the spotting or in the spotting sense of it, like he should have stayed out of it. But I mean, he had way fresher tires than us, and he was entitled that pass really.
And one last thing, is there anybody that you would like to shout out tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely. My friends who are watching, big thanks to them for their support. My team, Ball State Esports and Team Flash, and Dan Marino, the team's director, and also my teammates Red and Cody, who have been amazing to work with. And yeah, we are looking forward to tomorrow.
Congratulations on your runner-up finish tonight. You had an incredible drive from start to finish, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the premier race tomorrow night.
Thank you.
That was our runner-up for tonight, Mr. R. Alif, who, like I said, had a great run from start to finish, and you heard him shout out all of his teammates and his program director that have built such an incredible program to come out guns a-blazing tonight. Hopefully for the rest of the season here in the CIL, we're excited to see them be successful. Now let's talk to our third place finisher, Connor Levy from Arizona State. This is Zach up in the booth. You had a great race. You started off great. You were right there at the end. You led some laps in the middle, but it seems like your tires may have fallen off there at the end. What do you think you learned from tonight?
So what I did is I pitted earlier than who was it? Zachary and Mohammed, and jumped them in the pits by pitting early. But unfortunately, I pitted probably a bit too early and killed the tires. They had tire advantage on me by the time they pitted. I probably might have overdriven the tires early in the run, in the second run as well.
Hey Connor, it's Alex in the booth. I just have a question about the general strategy from tonight and how you're gonna transfer that over to tomorrow. So tomorrow will be a 120 lap race. Will you change your driving style, maybe your strategy around, knowing that it will definitely be at least a two-stop strategy tomorrow as opposed to a one-stop?
I'm probably not going to change it that significantly, considering that it's going to be really, really difficult to one stop, because basically it's just going to be an extra stop length on top of that. I'll probably just skip the short pitting next time, because that really hurt me at the end.
All right. Yeah. Especially everything that's Prospect Series, it's about learning and getting better. Especially as rookies, we have a lot of rookies here, and sometimes you just gotta get experience and learn something. But you did a great job, Connor. Congrats on third place. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out tonight?
Garrett, he started in the back and finished fourth. And he's also from ASU, so just like to shout him out.
All right. Thank you, and hopefully we're talking to you tomorrow as well.
Yeah, thank you. Have a nice day.
Congratulations on your P3 finish. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Well, there you have it, folks. 3 rookies, 3 top 3 finishes in tonight's Lone Star 120. So, Alex, as we wrap up tonight's race, what do you think is your biggest takeaway looking towards tomorrow?
Biggest takeaway from tomorrow? It's not necessarily going to be the pace of these drivers. It's going to be how well can they take care of the tires, and are they able to drive in a way that's fast and take care of their tires.
Matt?
Yeah, I think Alex makes a great point there. I think we definitely saw tires and what lap you pit up is going to play a big role in the strategy tomorrow. We saw, Connor Levy lead the race for a good chunk of it after the pit stop just because he pitted like 3 or 4 laps earlier than the rest of the field. So maybe even just coming in a lap earlier, the tire wear difference is going to be too great, but it's going to give you an advantage on that out lap. And I definitely think there's going to be a lot of overtaking tomorrow. We heard Connor Levy mention his teammate, Garrett Vinton. He started in 19th position. He was our biggest mover of the night by far, up 15 positions. The next closest, Bradley Daniels, is up 10. So I think tomorrow it's definitely going to be a strategy race if the race goes green, but I'm not necessarily banking on 120 laps going green tomorrow.
No, I saw a lot of guys were getting loose off the corners. tonight we got lucky. A lot of those guys that got loose either hit the wall in a way that didn't spin them out, or sent them to the grass, and they were able to save it. Tomorrow we may not be so lucky. There might be some cautions, and that might change up the strategy.
Yeah, Alex, I think that's a great point, especially in the Premier Series where drivers tend to race each other a bit harder. They don't really give as much quarter as you see in the Prospect Series sometimes. You see a bit more field spread in the Prospect Series, so incidents, hit the wall out of turn 4, get loose out of turn 4. It might not just be yourself rolling through the grass. You might collect one or two of your competitors if you're racing closely with other people. So I definitely think that's going to be something to watch for tomorrow.
Yes, and something to look out for the season. Uh, these rookies that are in the Prospect Series, Prospect Series, Prospect Series Championship is in fact the championship that we care about. And Zachary DeWale, Muhammad Alif, Connor Levy, I think those are going to be the big three that are going to be going for the championship in the Prospect Series.
We're going to have to take a look at the points as they settle out as we move into tomorrow night and beyond. But guys, that was a great race that we saw from start to finish. I know we were a little concerned that we were going to have some chaos ensuing. I know I definitely was expecting some, but it was very nice to see it go green flag to flag. So I think my biggest takeaway is probably everything that y'all said. Tires, tires, tires. We're probably going to see some cautions tomorrow night because it's usually more of a slugfest in the Premier Series. But I think we're going to see caution strategy, pit strategy, tires, pit stops really be the main talking point tomorrow night for a lot of our drivers. So looking into our final finishing grid tonight. Results are unofficial until they are confirmed by our stewards. I know they're probably going to have some things to talk about, but let's take a look at our finishes tonight. If we can get them, let's see.
Production's working on it. A little technical difficulties here right now.
It's Monday. You know what? I'll read it straight from iRacing. Let me get that report real quick. Alrighty.
It's up.
Here we go. Yay. So our winner tonight, Zach DeWale, the student out of St. Clair College, runner-up finish for our Elite from Ball State, taking home P3. Connor Levy, Arizona State University, puts in a great drive. Garrett Vitton puts in another great drive as well, driving from kind of back in the pack all the way up to 4th place. Jarrett Grodziski from Kansas State brings it home P5. Bradley Daniels finishes P6 for Robert Morris University. Andrew McCall from Purdue takes it home 7th. Rhett Crane in 8th place, followed by Jeff Pete in 9th place. Daniel Hunter rounds out our top 10. Edwin Onofre in P11. Tristan Yoder P12. Tristan Yoder will be our first car 1 lap down from Robert Morris. Joshua Tiggs from Buena Vista P13. Cody Carey, Ball State P14. Scott Ratliff takes it home P15. Austin DeLong P16. Matthew Warren P17. Ethan Decatur, the 00, P18. And in last place, P19, having to retire due to technical issues, Cody Fadenhauer from VCU. Well, round 2 of the Prospect Series is in the books, and our drivers have once again come out giving their all at Texas. Just a reminder that our Premier Series will be back tomorrow night here at Texas once again, so be sure to tune in at 8:45 Eastern Time for the Lone Star 200, where we'll see our rookies that performed so well tonight really test their strength against the skills of our heavy-hitting drivers like Jared Kaler and Andrew Williams, and even our own Matt Nordberg. He'll be up on racetrack tomorrow night racing for NC State in the Alumni League. So from all of us here at the booth, myself and my co-commentator Alex and producer Matt, we want to thank you for tuning in to tonight's Lone Star 120. Have a great evening all, and stay fast. We'll see you tomorrow night.